Hello there, this one is called The Healing Crisis versus Pharma medicine. So many of us have been brought up with the idea of there being something wrong and then going to a conventional medicine practitioner and being prescribed a pharmaceutical drug, as opposed to working with a shaman or another alternative healer. So it's a very big difference in approach and consequences. So with the former, the one we're very much used to, a problem arises, you go and see the doctor, and the doctor gives you a drug to take, and the drug to take, if all goes well, produces a relief in the symptoms, and you can get back to your old life. Now with Shamanic and other such healing modalities, we have a completely different approach, and this is where the healing crisis comes in. And this is where there can be a big problem for the client if they're used to one model and they suddenly move to the other model. So the conventional thing to happen with the shamanic healing or other similar alternative healings is that whatever it is that has caused the dis-ease in the person will come to the surface. And as it comes to the surface, this can actually produce a very short-term increase in symptoms or increase in some kind of distress. It can well be that what has been masked for a long time suddenly comes to the surface. So the short of it is the person can feel for the very short term somewhat worse, or maybe even quite a bit worse. So the job of the shaman or the other alternative practitioner is to explain to the person this is part of the journey. What has been concealed is being revealed. And the act of revelation means that the person is able to take on board and integrate the new information which is revealed through the healing crisis. If this takes place, then all works wonderfully well. And because you haven't had any relief of the superficial symptoms, you've been able to go into the root causes. And it's when we delve into the root causes we can produce huge, long-lasting, permanent change in our lives for the better. So therefore, this is very much a film for shamans as well. If you do a healing work for your client and your client initially reports some increase in their problems, your job is to actually explain to them what the healing crisis is, that it has a trajectory, and that they've just come on to the very first part of it, which is the body making it more clearly obvious that there is a deep-rooted problem, an issue that needs to be resolved, something from the past almost certainly, and this can be something from earlier in the life, and this is ever so important to realise. This can actually relate to incidents from other lives, from deep in the psyche. So if the person is counselled to not go into fear, but to realise there's some learning here, and to become present what is, to become present to what is, and also to take it easy, be chill, and not give themselves too much of a sense of urgency or drama about the whole thing, to accept that they're on the process, in a journey, and that will help them to feel better about what's going on. They'll be more open to the insights and the revelations that these increases in the symptoms are producing. And because finally, possibly for the first time ever, maybe even more than in one lifetime, they have finally got to grips with what the root cause is. That is what produces the most profound healing. I'm sharing this with you because I've got this situation where I've been receiving the work from my current online training practitioner in training, and he's done some wonderful work, and he's enabled me to have stuff that's come up from my past to look at and to integrate and to come to terms with, and actually ultimately to feel so much better about. And the way this is certainly for me in this particular case, because these things have been brought up, particularly fear and anxiety, which are two conditions I generally don't have in my life at all. That's enabled me to look even deeper into instance from the dim and distant past, allow them to arise, feel the feelings. And this is the great thing about feeling the feelings. When we feel the feelings, things move on. The reason why feelings can be stuck for people is when they're resisting them. And part of my journey was actually I just wrote down early one morning and I wrote about how resistant I was feeling, and the fact that I named my resistance and wrote it out, literally wrote it out of my body, out of my being, out of my soul. That's what catalyzed my healing. So it was my shamanic online trainee practitioner's work that started the whole thing off. Then I was able to respond to it, feel the distress, feel the resistance to wanting to work with it, and thereby actually, because I was feeling it and acknowledging it, working with it, releasing and feeling so much better. So yeah, that's the journey. So that's shamanic medicine v pharmaceutical medicine, and how it can all work out and gives you the long-term benefits you've been longing for. All the love to you.